So if you're driving down the road and your nav says you're in the middle of nowhere, we're not actually off-roading our Mustang here. We are on the road. Just means you need to update your maps. So if you need to learn how to do that, stay tuned. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do. Super simple, and you'll be back on the actual road sooner than you think. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in again. Today, as you can tell by the title and the beginning of the video, we're going to be updating the maps in our sync system. This vehicle specifically is the 2019 Mustang GT, but as long as you have the sync system in your car, it should be generally the same. It might just come up with different prompts and stuff as you go through. This one has the Sync 3. One thing to keep in mind, you have to have, regardless if it's Sync 2, Sync 3, because you can update the maps on the older systems as well. You just have to have the highest update available. So for this one, it's 3.4. I did a video on how to do that a couple weeks back. I'll put the link up here. You can check it out if you need to. And if you already have the Sync 3.4, you should be good to go. You can go and download the maps from Ford. And basically you plug her in and it does all the work for you. You just need time, and I'll go over how you plug it all in, what it should look like as it's going, and I'll go over just some of the stuff that Ford tells you to do from the website as you download it. So if you like this kind of stuff, give us a thumbs up, maybe subscribe if you like it, go check out the other videos. Helps out the channel a lot, helps us grow, keeps the videos coming, keeps the channel going. So enjoy. Hopefully this helped you out. If you have any questions or your concerns, leave a comment down below. I'll try to help you out, because I know it doesn't always want to work. The computer stuff is finicky. Doesn't always want to work for everybody, but if you're having issues, leave a comment and I will try to help you figure it out. Alright, so there is a few ways you can go about this. Obviously, the number one way, you can go into your dealership. They will most likely, most will anyway, will update the system for you. They have it all in their system, obviously. They can do it. Only thing is, they're most likely going to charge you for it. And who knows, it could be, depending on your dealership, if it takes an hour, they might charge you a whole hour rate. And, you know, mechanics aren't cheap, and they consider even plugging a USB stick into this thing being a mechanic. So they might gouge you for that. Second way, go online, download it. That's what I did. You just need a USB stick. You can see this one's 128 gigs. It says it wants at least a 15, I believe it was. Must be cleared. So this is the same one I actually updated the sync system to 3.4 with. Just cleared it. Away you go. Put the new files on here and you're set. Third way, you can actually go, because the way you find this, go to the Ford Sync 3 update. Just Google, you know, Ford Sync 3 map update. It'll come in. You put your vehicle's VIN number in, and it'll either let you download it, or the third way is they will actually send you this USB, well, not this one, but a USB with all the info on there that it needs. All the files, all the program or whatever they want on here will be set. Mail it to you. Plug it in, let it do its thing, and you're good to go. Here it was $40 Canadian. So, like I said, when you go and put your own system information and all that in, it'll give you the same option, and whatever it costs where you're from is what it will cost. But here it was 40 bucks, but I figured with the Ford Mustang, or this car at least, 2019, we get free map updates. I have the Ford Pass app, which I believe they do this annually, so once a year it should pop up and say, hey, new Sync 3 updates available. Click it and it'll bring you to the website. Like I said, it'll give you all the information on this stuff. And then you can download it, which is what I did, free, because with the system in this car, map updates are free for life. That's why The Ford Pass, if you don't know how that works, same thing. You put your vehicle, your VIN number in, all of your info is saved. It gives you all the information about your car. I'll go over that maybe in another video, show everybody how it works. But basically, as new stuff or recalls or anything comes up for your vehicle, it'll send you a notice and then it'll say, hey, good to go, blah, blah, blah. And you can decide if you want to do it or not. So figured Sync 3.4 is updated. We're good to go. So now we'll plug this in and I'll show you how to go about doing all that. Okay, first things first, the last video where I updated the sync system to 3.4, a lot of people were having issues, and I think that was because they didn't watch the part where your vehicle has to be on. Not just on power-wise, has to actually be physically on and running in order for this to download properly, and it's the same for the map update. So push your brake, fire up the car, let it start up, your system will fire up. You can see the pony pops up. Just let it all load properly before you put anything in the USB part. Also take note, say you plug this in and you know it doesn't update fast enough, you get home, you gotta whatever, pick up the kid from school, anything like that, don't worry about it. It'll stop as soon as you turn the car off. Only thing is, when you restart your car, it's gonna start the whole process over again. So it's not like, you know, maybe you got 10 minutes left in the download and you start over. You're not gonna have 10 minutes left, you're gonna have the whole, it says it can take up to an hour, but hopefully not. I don't really want to drive around for an hour, but right now we are at 12:44, so we'll see what she says when we're done. But pretty much all you gotta do, same as last time, plug your USB in the little USB port under the sync system, give it a couple seconds, and it should pop up saying it's downloading, or updating, sorry. There you go, updating system software. Now, everything will still work other than your maps. It might screw around with it a little bit. Here you go. You guys can read it over. I'm not going to read it all for you. Pause it if you need to. You can see, tells you everything that's going to be doing. Just hit next. There you go. Tells you right there, your vehicle must remain on during the update. If you remove the USB stick, it'll be restarted, and some functions may be unavailable until it is complete. So do you want to proceed and update the installation? Hit yes. And there you go, updating system software. Now we just cruise around, enjoy our day. It's nice and sunny. We can go for a cruise. If you want, you can just do this in your driveway or your garage. Obviously the car has to be running like it said, so don't close the door, otherwise you won't be awake to see her update being completed. But we'll leave it here and we'll get back to it as soon as she is updated. So one thing to note, when you download the files, it'll come up with 3 files. Basically you got one that is your maps, one is your software license, and one is your how-to. Just download all 3. It'll come up with a whole list step by step of how to do this if you're really confused. And then the only thing you have to keep in mind is when you put the files onto your USB stick, you have to open up the file for the actual maps because it is separate from the software license or whatever they call it, the licensing file. And they actually want you to drag the license into the maps file. So you'll download 2, you got to make them into 1, put it on your USB stick, and then it counts it in the system as being updated properly. So that's really the only confusing part. If you're not computer savvy or you just don't know what you're doing, you'll download the 2 files. I believe the licensing file is a bunch of letters and numbers with a couple dashes in there. And then your map file, if you click on it, open up the file, it'll have like 5 or 10 different files in it. You just want to grab that one separate file you downloaded, click it, drag it over, drop it in. It'll be your whatever 11th file or however many are in there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but as long as it's in there, you're good to go. Drag it over, drop it into the USB stick, it'll load onto there. eject it from the computer, come plug it into your car, and you are all set. All right, so while she's downloading, I'll show you. If you go controls, go to settings, we'll see if it'll let us do this or not. General settings, then we'll scroll down here. Oop, too far. About sync, click on that. You can see ours is product 3.4. System update gives you everything, vehicle hotspot. If you go down, you can see navigation maps version NA 117. That means our navigation system here is from 2017. So we're in 2021 now. Obviously, if you, like at the beginning of the video where I was driving, that's brand new road. They added a whole new off-ramp and on-ramp onto our highway here, and that was just the road leading to it. So that is fresh 2021 here, and it obviously will not be in this update because I believe this is the 2020 version. So if you're thinking, you know, they finished a road 2 days before and you're gonna be able to have it on here, think again. But there is another part around here where they actually built a new bridge, and that part, because it was the bridge, when you were going over, it was the same type of thing, but it looked basically like your car is driving through the ocean when really you're going over the bridge. So that should be updated in here, but it's just way further away. I just wanted to show you guys at the beginning of the video what you would be looking at if you were needing a map update. But I would say because they do it annually, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys that anything within the last year is probably not on there, and then everything the year before should be, depending. It also depends on when they do it. Do they update it in the summer? Do they update it, you know, January 1st? All that stuff you got to keep in mind. But like it says here, our map version right now, 2017. So even if you go just to 2020, we're already getting 3 years worth of stuff. And everybody knows, no matter where you drive in the world, there's always construction going on, and there's always going to be stuff, being new roads, wider roads. This updates your speed limits, your, you know, everything, whether they made it one way, two ways, lanes, everything. So it should all help, and we'll see what version we come up with after the update is done. Just one more thing I forgot to mention is when you download the file onto your computer or laptop, whatever you're downloading onto, the one that you're dragging onto the USB here, it tells you that it can take up to an hour plus to download, and it was no joke. My computer is pretty old. It's not some big fancy fast thing, but regardless of that, it downloads decently still. And this download took almost an hour and a half to get onto the computer, to the point where the files and everything are there ready to drag onto the USB. When you drag it onto the USB, you know, that's only a couple seconds. Just drop it in there and it's done. But if you're thinking, holy cow, this is not downloading properly, leave it alone. It is. It just takes a long time. I don't know what they do, how they do this. I'm not a computer tech like that. All I can tell you is to download that file onto my computer was about an hour and a half. Alright, so we're driving. I didn't pull over right away, but it was 1:07 was the time, because we are timing this. It came up and just said that the first part of the install was updated, and then it restarted the whole system. It went like we just turned the car on and off, but we were driving. So she turned it off, turned it back on, and now you can see updating system again. So we will see what it comes up with the next round. All right, so here we are, guys. 131. It was 125 when it popped up again, but basically what it was is same as the first time. It'll pop up system restarting. It'll restart the whole thing. Then it prompts you to finalize the installation, turn your vehicle off and back on again. It recommends 30 seconds. And this time, instead of when it restarted like the first time, up here it continued to say system updating. This time it popped up system updated. So it tells you to turn the car off. I'll open the door here. just so you go completely off, let her shut down. 30 seconds later, you can see I took the USB out already, but it did take roughly a half an hour, give or take. It was 1:45, and it was about 25 after by the time we started getting the updates all completed. Yeah, it's kind of worded weird on the Ford website. They said it could take up to an hour, but it's hard to tell if they're talking about the file download to put onto the USB or if it's actually the file downloading onto your sync system. So in my case, it took about 35 minutes and she's good to go. So car's been off for about 30 seconds now. Let's turn her back on and see if it does anything. We'll let it fire up. Now obviously there's no way of driving around and showing you maybe new roads and everything like that on here, because like I said at the beginning of the video, that's brand new, just opened up recently, so it's not going to be in this update, but we'll see if it comes up with anything. Phone's connected successfully, maps are loading, so that all works. Let's see what she says here. There you go, same thing, system updated. That way you know you're good to go. Only way of really showing you guys this is we started off at the 2017 version. I'm gonna say this is probably 2019 or 2020 because we are only in 2021 now. So go back here and yeah, there you go. Navigation NA119, so that's NA1 of 2019 now, where earlier before this we were at 2017, so we gained 2 years onto the maps. Makes sense because this would be the 2019 version, which would come out the beginning of 2020, so possibly if they do this every year. I've only ever got one notice for mine so far, but because we're in 2021, they might have another update in the next couple months here, coming out with the 2020 version possibly, and so on and so forth as the years go by, depending when you're watching this video. And there you have it, guys. That's as easy as it gets. The hardest part is just making sure you got the files right on your USB. I'm sure if you're having issues, leave me a message. Either comment on here, I'll get back to you, or find me on Instagram, same thing, DM me on there, and I'll try to help you figure it out. Most likely it's either your files didn't download properly, or they didn't end up on the USB properly, or that licensing part, you have to have the software license in the files with the map just to make it complete in order for your sync system to match it up with the files on the USB. So it would be one of the two, I'd say, is your issue. Other than that, it should just be as simple as this video. Plug her in, go for a cruise. Like I said, half hour, 40 minutes later, your map should be updated. Go into your settings, general, look up your sync maps update, and it should tell you what year you're at. And yeah, obviously if you have, say, the Sync 2 system still, maybe you got an older vehicle, there is a way to update it as well. Could be similar to this. Otherwise, bring it into the Ford dealership. Most likely they're going to charge you, but they will get you updated at least if you do a lot of driving. Obviously, if you're around your hometown, you know what's going on, you don't need much. But if you're someone who cruises around, goes from place to place, and you're just wanting, especially because the system tells you where to turn, when to turn, if you're all of a sudden you're on a new road that doesn't exist, your system's going to freak out at you and tell you that you're either swimming or going off-roading or something. So easy peasy, get it on the USB, plug her in, half hour later you should be good to roll, and wait for the next updates. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If it helped you out at all, thumbs up and subscribe. Catch you in the next video, and thanks for watching, you guys.